Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do another beauty blab. I do these every so often. This is sort of my spin on a favorites video because I don't necessarily feel like I have things to talk about every single month. So this way there's no pressure to do it every month. Every time I find a product that I feel some way about, whether it's something that I'm really enjoying or something that I don't like, or even something that I feel it's worth mentioning but is just okay, it's not a favorite or a fail by any means, we can talk about it in this video. If you didn't see my last edition of Beauty Blab, then I will link it up above in the cards for you, but I felt like it was definitely piling up, so I think it's time to talk about some things. And I have a lot of things that I have been really enjoying, so I wanted to tell you about them. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a beauty sponge. I've sort of been on a little bit of a search for new beauty sponges. I love my beauty blender. I think I probably always will go back to it no matter what. But I have been trying some sponges that I really like. I talked about some in my last beauty blab. I believe the Flower Beauty one, the L'Oreal one, I've been really enjoying, but this one might be my favorite of all of them that I've tried so far. This is the Sonia Kashuk sponge. I don't know what the actual name for it is, and this is it wet, so it's big. I actually used it to do my makeup today. It is nice and soft and squishy, and it gets really large. This is a brand that you can find at Target. They used to sell makeup. Now they're really only selling tools and whatnot, and so they came out with this sponge, and they sell it in a 1-pack or a 2-pack, and I think the 2-pack is only like $10, so it's really not that bad. And I've been really enjoying this one. The one thing that I notice about this, which is really interesting, I don't know what it is, but I find this sponge to be the easiest to clean. I feel like with my beauty blender, even with the other sponges that I mentioned, it's really hard to get them completely clean. There's still some foundation staining on it, which I don't care so much about, but with this one, I feel like I can get it completely clean. I'm sorry I didn't totally clean it for you, but I used it today. So every time I wet my sponge to do my foundation, I go ahead and just clean it. It's just easy to do that. So that's what I do, but I did use it. So I really have been loving this. The only thing is that because it is so big, even though it comes to a point, it can be hard to be really precise. So you kind of have to like squeeze it like that, to make sure and get really precise because it is so large. Like it's hard to get, between your brows or whatever. But otherwise, I've been loving this, and I can't say enough good things about it. So I definitely recommend it if you haven't tried it. Then I want to talk about some eyeshadows. There are definitely some eyeshadows that I've been excited about. One of them is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. This one is definitely very new to me, but I just reviewed it and I did a tutorial with it. So I'll link both of those videos in the cards for you if you haven't seen those videos. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I did a review on it, but this one is pretty new to me. It looks like that. It's the Latte palette. She also has a lemonade collection, but this was her first palette. Kristen Dominique, who's a YouTuber, came out with Dominique Cosmetics, and I've just been absolutely loving this. I think it's a fantastic quality palette, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a somewhat warm palette, but that also has some cooler tones in there. I think it really is fabulous. So if you want to know more about it, again, definitely make sure and watch that review. But before I got that palette, there are a couple other palettes that have made me super excited. So the first one that I want to mention is not really a palette. It's my pro shadows from Sugarpill. These are some of them. I have others that are in little singles. You can get them this way or that way. This is actually the best way to get them because they're cheaper as just in the pans. And if you buy a certain amount, you get either the half size palette like this or the full one. The only reason that I got some shadows that were in singles is just, in little pots, is just because they were sold out in the pros, but not in those. So, that can happen sometimes. But these are absolutely fabulous shadows. If you're somebody who wants to, have some really good basic matte shadows that are very pigmented but easy to work with, these are absolutely fantastic, and you get a lot for your money. So if you're someone who doesn't care about something like that, okay, that's fine. But if you do like to get a good value for your money, these are a huge pan, as you can see there. So I would definitely recommend them, only if you're somebody who really wants to experiment with color and you want some really good quality shadows, but I really can't say enough good things about these. They are amazing. From Sugarpill, before I talk about the other eyeshadow palette, is this liquid lipstick from them in the shade Trinket. This is a beautiful color, as you can see right there. And it looks like a basic color, but it has this beautiful glitter in it. And I wouldn't have thought that I would like that in a liquid lipstick, but it's not chunky. I'll see if I can kind of show you here, because the way that this works is you put this on, it dries, and you see that glitter, and you see it more as you kind of like press your lips together. So it's this beautiful color, as you can see, and I don't know if you'll be able to see the glitter, but once it dries, I'll kind of pat it for you and see if I can show you a little bit. I don't know how well that will work on my hand, but the color itself is gorgeous. And then that gold glitter, it doesn't feel chunky, you know, you don't feel that on your lips, but it just looks beautiful. And I've gotten tons of compliments when I've worn that. And, you know, so I know that it stands out, and I know that I just love the way that it looks, and it's something so different. And I love the formula of it. I think that it's a great liquid lipstick in general, but I just have been loving that shade. I just think it's so fun. Okay, so I think you can see a little bit here. It's not like totally dry, but I think you're able to see that. Yeah, it's just this beautiful gold glitter, but it's fine glitter. I just absolutely have been loving it. I actually talked about this in a beauty wish list or not. I don't know if this is up first or if that's up first, but I talked about that they are now, and I think they're out now. They came out with 3 new shades of liquid lipsticks that have glitter in them like this. So if you don't like this shade, they are now going to have other shades that are like this. So I think that's really exciting. Okay, so then the other eyeshadow palette that I want to talk about, I don't know if any of you are surprised to see this, but I've been loving this palette. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know that this is one that I didn't ever really plan on buying, but around the time of the Sephora VIB sale that was, you know, in the spring, I saw this in store and I started swatching it, and I just fell absolutely in love with it. So it looks like this, and it totally has my name all over it. I mean, I love purple, and so I love those purple tones, and I love them paired with those oranges and peaches, and this palette is so good. It is such good quality. It's definitely pricey, so I would recommend getting it during a VIB sale, which is what I did. I just love it more than I ever thought that I would. I never really had any interest in Huda Beauty products, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know. I mean, I knew that I loved this color scheme, but I didn't think that I really wanted it or needed it. I certainly didn't need it. But I just love every single look that I create with this, and I feel like the options are just endless with this one. I think it's so, so good. I will say, just as a side note, I don't totally love some of the things that she's doing business-wise. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just Google it. I'm not gonna get into it. So I don't know how I feel about her brand or her in general, but I love this eyeshadow palette, and I bought it before all of that stuff. So I feel like there's so much drama in the makeup world right now, but anyway, I do love this palette, and I think it's amazing, and I feel like I've used it a ton, but I've barely scratched the surface as far as like what I can do with this palette, which I just love. It makes it really exciting. So I have a bunch of face products to talk about. So the first one is one that has really surprised me. I actually have it on my under eyes today. This is the Essence Brighten Up powder. It's a banana powder, but I wouldn't really call, I mean, the light is sort of washing it out. I don't know if you can really see. It definitely has a yellowish tone to it, but it's different than a lot of banana powders because it is really much brighter and only has like a hint of yellow in it. It really more is just like a creamy white shade, and it is so creamy. And I have just been loving this underneath my eyes. I have hardly used anything else underneath my eyes. I have to sort of like remind myself to use other things that I have because I've just been loving this one so much. And of course it's Essence, so it's probably a few dollars. It just looks beautiful underneath my eyes. It does brighten it up, but not in an obnoxious way because I'm not super into like the really highlighted under eye anymore. But I find that this keeps it bright, but not too much. And it just keeps my under eye super smooth. It doesn't make it look too dry. I really have been so impressed with this. And I've heard good things about the NYX one too, which of course would be more expensive, but I'm curious to try that one too, because I've heard really good things about that one. But this one has been really impressing me and I just can't get enough of it. I've been using it almost every single time I do my makeup, and I've been really happy with it. The next thing is like the cutest little thing you've ever seen. It's this little mini blush and glow from Natasha Denona. I talked about this in a beauty wish list way back, but I love that she's coming out with all these mini products because her brand is really expensive and they're definitely good quality, but they're still really pricey. So it makes it difficult to purchase a lot from her. And so I love that she's coming out with some of these minis because, yeah, of course they're really tiny. Like, it's hard to even tell how tiny this is unless you were to see it in person. It's very tiny. There's still enough product in there. I've used it a lot, and I mean, it doesn't, like, you know, you can see the brush strokes in there, but it's not like you can see a dip or anything like that. But, you know, it's tiny. But I still feel like, you know, you get a good amount of product and then you're not spending so much. I mean, those colors are so gorgeous. This blush, it's glowy and peachy and pinky and gorgeous. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then this highlighter can be really soft and subtle, but it could also be really gorgeous and glowy, but never like, you know, glittery or metallic or intense, which sometimes I like, but sometimes you just want to look glowy and like, you know, like a bronze goddess kind of thing. And this does that. And I love the size for travel and just my collection in general, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I got this. It really is absolutely gorgeous. So I would definitely recommend that if you were thinking about it. Next thing is a little blush trio. I got a bunch of this stuff, by the way, after my birthday. I spent a little bit of birthday money on some stuff. So that's why there's kind of like a lot of new things that I have going on. But I've had this product in my Ulta wish list or whatever they call it for a very long time, and I finally decided to get it, and I'm so glad that I did. So this is the Anastasia blush trio in Peachy Love. So you get, you know, 3 different blushes in it, which I think is awesome. Again, another great thing for travel because, you know, I mean, they're all peachy, but they're still really different, and you can use one at a time. You can mix them. I definitely mix them quite a bit. They're all matte, but this one has like a little bit of glitter through it, but it doesn't like look glittery when you put it on the skin. So they're, you know, they're matte, but they're not flat mattes. And I just think that these colors are really flattering. Definitely on my skin tone. I think even if you're darker, this would work. If you're, you know, lighter than me, you could, you know, certainly just use a lighter hand when it comes to like that one in the middle, especially. But I really love this. And I will say they have tons of other shades of these. So if you don't like these tones, they have other colors. And so you can find something that you like and prefer more than maybe the peachy tones. But I've really been loving this. I think that it's fabulous quality, just like everything ABH puts out. And it's so much fun to be able to have a trio like this. You know, not a lot of brands put out things like this, and I really love it. All right, so I'm kind of on like a bronzer kick. I don't know what the deal is, but I got 2 new bronzers that I'm in love with both of them. I'm really in love with both of them. One of them is really cheap and one of them is not horrible, but not cheap. So the first one that is not so cheap is the Too Faced Sweet Tea bronzer. It's their Sweethearts bronzer. So it's like a baked bronzer and it has like sort of 2 different shades. I usually just mix them together, but it's a glowy bronzer. And this is another one that has been in my wish list for a really long time. Kathleen Lights talks about this constantly. And I had been wanting to get a glowy bronzer, something that was a little more, you know, shimmery, but not like too glittery or whatever for the summer. I thought that that would look really pretty. I didn't have much like that in my collection, actually. So I was really looking for something like this, and I decided to finally go for it. And it is beautiful. It really is a fantastic bronzer. If you're looking for something that's a little more glowy, but not like glittery or shimmery, but that is just gonna give you this beautiful bronze glow, it really looks so beautiful on the skin. And I love the way that it looks. It looks like, you know, like you got a tan, but you're also glowing. And that's just totally the look I go for in the summer. And I love it. I would wear this even not in the summer though, too, honestly. And, you know, unfortunately they don't have like other shades of this, I guess. I don't know if they have darker bronzers at all, but this is just the one shade Sweet Tea that I know of. And so if you're lighter, I think this would work for you. If you're a little darker than me, probably, but any darker than that, obviously it's not going to work. But if it would work for your skin tone, I definitely recommend this. I think it's so beautiful. And then the other bronzer is really cheap and matte, but oh gosh, I think it looks so beautiful. So this is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is the lighter skin one. They have one that's for darker skin, but I say darker skin because it's like not that dark, so I don't know what that's about. This is like a huge bronzer that you can get for like a few bucks, which is just so crazy to me. It has a little bit of a coconutty scent, but not like too strong, not like as strong as the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, if you know what that one smells like. I really enjoy the way that this one smells. I'm not huge into the Physicians Formula one, but this looks so beautiful on. Renee Cutler talk about this constantly. She has like a huge pan in the middle of this one. She's used it constantly. And so I knew that I'd been wanting to try it. And now more recently, Paulina Beauty has been talking about it. And I finally was like, okay, this is a few bucks. I mean, honestly, I know that I've gotten other bronzers, but it's so cheap that I have to try it. It honestly can stand right next to some of my more expensive bronzers. It's that good. I can't recommend this enough, honestly. Whether you're on a budget or not, this is so good. So if you're looking to try a new bronzer, one more thing that I've been loving, and we'll talk about one thing that I'm not a huge fan of. The Fenty Glow, oh gosh, what is this called? The Fenty Glow Gloss Bomb. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how much I love this lip gloss. This is like, I'm pretty sure this is the perfect lip gloss. It suits everybody. And the way that it makes your lips look, it's perfect. It's this, you know, like light color that, you know, if you put it on top of something, it just kind of looks like, you know, a clear gloss. If you put it by itself, you have like a hint of color. You know, it has a little bit of color, but it doesn't show up intensely on you. But it's that color that works on everybody. And it just, I mean, you can even see it on my hand. It just shines. It makes your lips look so juicy and like so glowy and beautiful. And oh my gosh, I have worn this so much. I absolutely love it. It smells delicious. Like, I want them to come out with more shades of this, but at the same time, like, this is perfect. This is perfect. And I don't even think this is that expensive. Like, I really think this is a good price. This is a big lip gloss. The packaging is stunning. This is the only thing that I have from Fenty, but oh my gosh, so, so good. And what I also love about this is that this got me back into glosses. I've been into matte lips for such a long time, and because it was, you know, it was easier in a lot of ways, you know, being a busy mom, and even before I was a mom, it just was easy to sort of put on a color, especially if it was a bold color, and then not have to worry about it so much. Not that I'm not into it anymore, but man, I'm really into glossy lips right now, as you can see. I've been wearing them a lot more. I don't like the inconvenience of the glossy lip, but I feel like it looks so much prettier on me. I mean, that's just the reality. Every time I want to pick out a lip color, I want it to be glossy. I feel like that looks so youthful and glowy and pretty, and I've just been loving the way that it looks, and this is the thing that changed it for me. This is still my favorite, but I've been wearing a lot of glosses lately. I'm on a gloss kick. So glosses, I guess, in general are a favorite. I don't know. It's just what I'm doing right now. So the last thing that I don't really like, I wouldn't really say it's a fail. It's just not, it's just, I don't love it. I would not repurchase it. It's just not something that I really like very much. This is the Flower Beauty Zoom In Ultimate Mascara. If you saw my Beauty Blab, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that, you'll know that I have had a love affair with Flower Beauty. I've been loving everything that I've been trying from them, some more than others for sure, but a lot of the stuff that I've tried from them, I absolutely adore. And I'd heard good things about this mascara, and you know, it's one of those that I don't typically like, so I'll admit that, but it's one of these where, you know, you can twist the mascara like that. And so, first of all, I never really notice a huge difference when it comes to mascaras like that. I don't really notice anything, you know, different than however I twist it. But the other thing is, first of all, it smells pretty strong, like chemically. And so that kind of you know, that kind of bugs me a little bit. But I also just don't feel like it does that much for my lashes. I'm pretty happy with my lashes. I use Revitalash, so, you know, I don't know, I feel like I can get away with a lot of mascaras, but I still have my favorites, and I still have ones that I feel like do better things for my lashes than others. And this one I didn't feel like does anything that great. I feel like I have to apply a lot of layers to get it to the volume that I want, because for me, I feel like I have a good amount of length, but I want something that's going to curl a little bit and add some volume, and this just doesn't really do it for me. So I'm gonna continue to use it, but like it's not the one that I'm really wanting to pull for. It's just okay, and I want to use other things before I use this. So not my favorite. I'd be willing to try their other one, the Lash Warrior. Maybe I'd like that one better, but this one's just okay. It's not my favorite. All right, everyone, so that is it for this edition of Beauty Blab. Let me know in the comments below some of the things that you've been loving or some of the things that you have not been liking at all. I'd really be curious to hear. If you like this video, please make sure and give it a big thumbs up. That really does help out my channel so much. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around. I post videos every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time, and sometimes some bonus ones as well. And I really hope to see you next time. Bye.